What's going on, guys? It's your boy CMB back in the building, back with another video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into this one really quickly, guys. Yesterday, guys, was the highly anticipated press conference, Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, guys. It was out in LA. You guys know the fight's coming up next month, July 24th in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, a lot of us were expecting, or to be honest, we didn't know what to expect with this press conference yesterday. We didn't know if it was going to be fireworks, altercations. We just didn't know. But it turned out to be pretty tamed, in my opinion. Both guys seemed very professional at the press conference. You know, they didn't really get out of pocket, what I'm trying to say. Some of the things that stood out at the press conference, Wilder's opening statement, that stood out. He talked about being off with Fury's head. He talked about there was going to be bloodshed, and that was pretty much all he really had to say during the press conference. And I think PBC cut that part out on their highlight reel for the press conference yesterday. When I went and looked at it, they didn't even have that in there. They just had what Tyson Fury had to say. So I guess maybe they deemed that somewhat inappropriate. But some of the other things that stood out, I think Sugar Hill Stewart, who's Tyson Fury's trainer, saying that now Tyson Fury now has one-punch knockout power. I think a lot of people were taken aback by that. I could see that, the way he was punching in the last fight. You know, it seems like Sugar Hill Stewart has been teaching him how to sit down on his punches a lot better, because he was really hurting Wilder in the fight with those punches, if you go back and watch that fight. And he's talking about going up to 300 pounds now, so there's no telling, you know, what those shots will feel like coming from a 300-pound man. What else stood out? Of course, Wilder not speaking to the media. You know, Wilder felt slighted by the media, so he didn't want to talk. You know, his trainer Malik Scott did all the talking for him. And of course, another thing that stood out was the face-off at the end. You know, how both guys faced off, and you know, they didn't want to take their eyes off of each other. It was pretty intense. It was a long time, and till Wilder finally got tired and just walked away. So those were some of the things that stood out. Now, I saw Ness from Boxing Voice doing an interview on Fight Hype. You guys know he has some type of deal with Fight Hype now, doing interviews for them. And he caught up with trainer Kevin Cunningham. And Kevin Cunningham, if you guys don't know, he's trained the likes of Gervonta Tank Davis. He's trained Adrian Broner. Right now he's training Erickson Lubin, who's a nice guy, by the way. I met him out in Vegas. And I think he's fighting Jason Rosario next. But he was asked about the fight, basically, and what Wilder needs to do to win this fight. He talked about Malik Scott, of course. He said Malik Scott was on the national amateur team that he was coaching, and he said Malik Scott pretty much knows, you know, his way around the ring. He knows boxing, and he said that what they need to do is to push Fury back, basically. He said he needs to have Fury on the back foot if he wants to be successful in the fight. And I think he's right on that. We saw how Fury used his new game plan given him by Sugar Hill Stewart to walk Wilder down. Wilder didn't know what to do. He could not fight on his back foot. His right hand was just useless in that fight, and he hadn't been working on his fundamentals. You know, he kind of put that off to the side, and he's even said that himself. And you know, the right hand failed him in the fight. So the thing in this fight, he's going to have to push Fury back, I think, using his jab, going to the body, not letting Fury walk forward on him. He's just going to have to do that in order to win the fight. I think Kevin Cunningham's right on that. And Malik Scott, you know, he's a very technical guy when it comes to training. I think he's a plus for Deontay Wilder. You know, he talked about Deontay Wilder having raw power and him having the technical side, and they're just going to put that together and it's going to mesh. So I think Wilder has a good chance in this fight. I think he has a better chance in this fight than he did in the last fight, guys. And that's what I always say. Skills pay the bills. You don't want to be a one-trick pony, because then, you know, somebody can figure you out, and then, you know, what do you do then? And I think Wilder was in that situation in that fight where, you know, he didn't know what to do, because his right hand has been, you know, taking him to victory all this time. And you kind of get lazy with that when something's working for you, and then all of a sudden it doesn't, and you just don't know what to do. So I think this is a lesson well learned. This last fight was a lesson well learned for Deontay Wilder. Eat, sheet, sleep, and shit boxing. And that's what him and Malik Scott have been doing. And I applaud him for it. You know, sometimes you got to go back to the drawing board and work on your craft. That's very important. You know, you taste fame sometime, and you get lazy, and you know, it caught up to him. So, but guys, it ought to be a great fight. I can't wait. I won't be going to the fight, but I probably will be ordering it on pay-per-view. You guys know it's going to be huge. I heard the tickets were outrageous. I figured they would be. But you know, it's a heavyweight fight, and it's a highly anticipated fight. The bad blood between the two is just off the charts, and even some of the fans, guys, some of the fans, the bad blood is out there. Some of the channels going at it back and forth. I try to stay neutral out of that stuff. I just come on here, give you guys my take on what's going on with the fight. So you guys tell me what you think about what Kevin Cunningham had to say. And let me know who you think's going to win the fight. You got Wilder, or do you have Fury in the trilogy matchup, guys? It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.